Now, to get it started, today's conversation is in regards to a newcomer's journey. And we have two of my really good friends and are very well positioned to share their journey with us and tell us, so that we can learn from them. And without further ado, I will introduce them. Ladies first, of course. We have Joyce with us today. Joyce, can you wave at the church?
Hi.
Hello. Joyce works as a project coordinator in the construction industry. She earned her degree from Humber College and a master's degree from the University of Birmingham. Joyce will share her profound insights and valuable tips and offer a compelling narrative of her journey and the opportunities that lie ahead with international students and newcomers that dream of making Canada their academic playground. So Joyce, we're really happy to have you with us. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we also have Justus. Hello, Justus.
Hi, Nadia.
Hi. Justus earned his degree from Waterloo University and recently just got his master's in business administration. He is a process leader at BioOrigin, and he moved to Canada to complete his engineering degree in 2012. And currently he volunteers with CARY on different youth initiatives. We're very happy to have you with us. Now, to kick it off, I would like you guys, of course, to tell me how long you guys have been in Canada and what is the most exciting thing that you've done, like something you wouldn't have done in any other place that you did when you got to Canada, like your most exhilarating experience since coming to Canada. We'll start with Joyce.
Oh, I was going to say Justus go first. I've been here, it's been 8 years, so I've been here since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not quite sure what you mean with the thing that you could have done differently.
No. An exhilarating experience. Something maybe you could have gone, I don't know, air diving or whatever thing that you did since coming here that,
Oh, interesting.
That you wouldn't have done anywhere else, that you did in Canada.
First of all, I wanted to go skydiving, but my friends ditched me, so that's one. But a thing that I've done was probably travel through Canada and drive through the whole country. No, not the whole country, from Edmonton to Ottawa for 3 days. So that's the biggest thing I've done. And I don't see myself doing that anywhere. I don't think I would have done it in Rwanda, driving to another country by just myself. No, it was me and my dad, but still. I wouldn't have done it if I was anywhere else. So it was such a beautiful thing to do because we just wanted to see Canada, not just up in the sky, but just drive through, and it was interesting. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. What about you, Justus?
That's a tough question. Well, I've practiced or went skiing a few times, so it's something you can do in Europe and North America, I guess, but it's not something I'd done before coming here. So that would be the most interesting and experience that I didn't do anywhere else but here.
Awesome. I relate with that because I feel like the one thing that I did that feels like a Canadian experience was a winter activity. I tried ice skating a few times this last winter. I plan to continue doing it this winter. So here's to being proper Canadians. All right, let's get into the questions. So starting with you, Stu, can you please take us through your journey from when you graduated high school and decided you're going to come to Canada? What made you choose specifically Canada, the school and the city and the province that you went to? Were there reasons that influenced that, or was it just randomly?
I would say it was quite an interesting journey for me. So I graduated high school from Lycée de Kigali, and it so happened I was talking to Axel about where to go for school. We were quite settled on trying to go to the US. However, it so happened that the University of Waterloo, they had a campus in Dubai that closed down a few years ago. And they actually came to Rwanda to recruit. So a friend of Axel's told him about it, and he said, do you just want to go and check it out? So we went. And what really was interesting about the university was the co-op program, which is very common, I would say, in Canada more than the US, where you work and study and work and study. So the ability to work in different industries, gain some knowledge, and also make some money to help pay for tuition was very interesting to us. So we decided to join the University of Waterloo. Yeah, we started back in Dubai. So there was an option to go to Canada or do 2 years in Dubai and finish in Waterloo, Canada. So we went to Dubai, and then after 2 years came here. So I wouldn't say it was planned. It just I guess it was a good coincidence that it so happened that Waterloo was recruiting back in Rwanda.
Thank you for sharing. What about you, Joyce?
Yeah, so mine too was interesting because initially I kept telling everybody, like, I didn't want to go to Canada. I never knew Canada existed on such a large scale before. So I wanted to go to the UK for university. And what he said is most countries that were coming to recruit students in Rwanda were from the US, the UK, China, and all that, and Canada. But then I was interested in going to the UK until my dad mentioned about Canada. I was like, okay, sure. And also going to Toronto was not an option because initially I was supposed to go to Windsor, University of Windsor. I applied there. They didn't pick me, never replied up until now. And so I was able, no, it's not even able, I was lucky enough to have family that my aunt went to Humber College. So she's like, oh, you should check it out. It's a good school for business school. So I checked it out. That's how I ended up at Humber College. And I wouldn't change anything about it.
That's good to hear. Well, that was their loss for, not getting back to you. Look at you now. All right. So now you get to Canada, you've been admitted, you're here. Of course, you come with like your own expectations, and some of them get to be crushed because that's just how life is. So can you please share with us what were some of the challenges that you faced, the culture shock, first impression, and other challenges could just be like the weather, loneliness, being away from your family. What were some of your personal challenges, maybe, the ones that stood out the most to you, and how did you overcome them? So we'll start with you, Joyce.
Oh, okay. I was going to say loneliness. That hit me so bad because everybody, though, I believe most people here have been raised in Rwanda. So one of the things that shocked me the most was the individuality in Canada overall. So when we're in high school, when you go to a new school, everybody's so eager to meet you, you're making friends easily and all that. So when I came here, mind you, as I mentioned before, not most of my friends went to the States, China, UK, whatever. It was just like 4 of us. So it was just me and my sister in Toronto. Our other friend was in Vancouver, and 2 others were in Ottawa. So we were just lonely. And then, so I was hoping, because before coming here, I went online, it's like, oh, are Canadians friendly? Everybody's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So I went to school. First thing, I'm like, oh no, it's just me. So it was really hard for me in terms of loneliness. And then come fall and winter, it's a big city. I was living far from school. So that was another challenge, getting to know around, using the maps to go everywhere. I was just more like figuring it out by myself. So yeah, the loneliness took a hit on me, but thank God we just got to know people. I joined CARY. I believe I joined in 2016 or late 2015. So I just got to know people afterwards, but before it was not cute. Yeah. So the weather, loneliness, the individuality in Canada overall was and being away from family and friends, the time zones, everything was just so different. I just had to adjust to a new life and finding myself. So,
and how did you overcome those?
Community.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, community was really such a big thing for me. At my school, I don't know about other schools, but at my school, Hambre, we had this Black students program. So I joined that, and then everything went smooth from there because I had people helping me, people telling me what to do, what activities to engage with, where to go and all that. So I would say community really helped me. And people that I met in CARY, shout out to Joa Grace and Imanzi, they really helped me a lot during those early days. So yeah, that was my experience.
Thank you for sharing that, because a lot of people come, the same way, go through that isolation period, and they feel like they're probably something is wrong with me. Why doesn't anybody want to be my friend? Not realizing that it's actually a common experience among many immigrants and international students. So thank you for sharing that. What about you, Justus?
So my first year in Canada was a bit different from most because it turned out to be the first co-op term in Canada. So I had finished in Dubai. So when I moved here, I didn't go straight to Waterloo. It was my co-op term. So actually, my entry visa was about to expire. So I literally left. I told my parents I had to leave because I couldn't wait to reapply, because then I wouldn't be able to get a co-op in time. So I left Rwanda without a job. I just knew, you know what, I'm going to Toronto. I have a friend there, and something will work out. So I remember I reached Addis, and I got an email saying that a company wanted to interview me from Owen Sound. So I'm like, okay, yeah. So I told them I'll be available tomorrow at 11. So I remember landing, getting to the hotel, and telling a friend of mine to come quickly so I could use his phone for the interview. I think it was about 10 minutes. And then they were like, okay, you got the job. You start on Monday. So I was in Toronto, and the job was in Owen Sound, which is about 3 hours northwest of Toronto. And yeah, I remember going there, very small city. And it was quite cold. So that was a challenge. I wasn't expecting it to be that cold, and two, it was far away from the people I knew. So I was lucky enough though that in Dubai, the teaching assistants we had, I'd made friends with them. So on weekends, I would go to Toronto to see them. Axel was also there, and then just talking to family. But yeah, starting here instead of starting at school, starting on a job where you don't know anybody in a city where you don't have anyone was quite challenging. But yeah, just making new friends and talking to family, and weekends traveling to Toronto just to see friends. That got me out of it. But I do agree with Joyce. Loneliness, if you're not expecting it, yeah, it can hit you quite hard.
Oh my God, I can imagine what the transition was, going from one of the warmest places on earth to stone cold Canada. Yeah, that must have been very, very hard. But yeah, we're glad to definitely have you here. Thank you for listening to your intuition and getting on the plane without knowing. Yeah. Well, when you got here, what do you think personally, or even in the community, helped you integrate, and what has been a source of support for you in your newcomer journey, in your international student journey? You can go on, Justus. What helped you integrate, and what has been a source of support for you?
So source of support, I would definitely say family and friends. But what helped me integrate the most is the friends. It's just the friends I made here. So at University of Waterloo, there weren't that many Black students. So most of the friends we had were white, but they were nice. They were Canadian nice, and I have to say they were very, very welcoming. So learned lots from them, and they helped me integrate because on Easter when we either meet, because Axel went to the same university. When we didn't have anywhere to go, they would welcome us to their homes, their families on Christmases. So, and if we had any questions about anything, they would answer them, they would guide us. So I would say the friends I made here at school definitely helped me integrate.
All right. Also, I also want you to answer that question, but in the scope of work. So your friends, your Canadian friends helped you integrate in the Canadian society and school, but what about your workplace? Because you're still an immigrant after all, and you have a different view of the world. So what can you say helped you integrate into the workplace? And
so for the workplace, I would say it's just the ability, I would say, to learn and relearn and observe, and that, because it's a different. My first co-op was in Rwanda. I worked for Blariwa for 4 months, and moving here and doing a co-op here, it was very different. You're used to the hierarchy. The boss says do this, you do this. You don't question, you don't ask. Like, that's just the way it's done. So getting here, my first co-op, being asked what my opinion was, what I thought we would do, it was just a different way of thinking that I wasn't used to, and I embraced it ever since. So it was just the ability of trying to learn as much before meetings, before anything, and participating. So the more you participate, the more you're vocal, the more you get more tasks, and the more you integrate quicker. So it was just, I volunteered for so many things outside my work or at work, and I would say that fast tracked my integration for sure.
thank you for sharing that. And I'm getting a few points from here. So definitely make friends from, local people or Canadians. So don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and make friends with people from other cultures. And second, speak up. So we're in Canada, your voice will be heard. Nobody's going to stifle it. So make sure that you speak up so that, closed mouths don't get fed. I believe that's what they say. So make sure that you step out there. I know it can be scary, the nerves rack, but make sure that you speak up, because that's how they see that you are interested. It's not like back home, your shyness shows that you are respectful. No, here, actually, I feel like the more you keep quiet, it shows that you're not interested. So yeah, those are some of the cultural differences that can actually help make or break, someone's journey. What about you, Joyce? And do you want me to repeat the questions for you?
The first one.
Yeah. So I pretty much asked personally what helped you integrate in the Canadian society, so school and workplace, and as well as what has been a source of support for you.
Well, I'll say friends and family too. But family the most, because again, I was fortunate enough to come here with people who have and met people who have been here for a long time. So the aunt that I was staying with helped me so much. And I feel like she is the source of who I am today, because she kept encouraging me, giving me tips on how to survive in here, stay in school. If you go to work, just work minimum hours, just focus on what brought you here. And honestly, that was the best advice that I've gotten. And so yeah, family really did. And also networking. I keep telling people I was forced to learn how to network. So I used to go to spaces. I'm like, oh my goodness, let me just stand here. But then, no, you just need to, as used to said, you have to get out of your comfort zone, go talk to people. Because most of the jobs that I've gotten, it was through networking. I was just going to spaces. I remember this one time we went to this event with Imanzi. It's I don't know, I don't remember the name, but it's entrepreneurship something. You know what I'm talking about. So I met these Black women there, and then Imanzi's like, go talk to those people. I said, okay, interesting. So I went to talk to her, and it's like, oh, actually, I need an assistant. I'm like, okay, cool. So that's how I got my gigs over there, just through talking to people. And I keep telling my friends, you need to walk into rooms like you belong there, just as Justus said. You just have to believe in yourself. For some reasons, fake it, but walk in like you belong in there. If you go to, I remember going to interviews, I'm like, I don't even understand what is in there. I don't know what you guys do. When I joined the construction, I was just a graduate from business school. I didn't know anything, but somehow I just walked in, convinced this man, like, take me in. He took me in. So your confidence is going to take you places as long as you just believe in yourself. So that's one thing. So networking and family and friends, those are the things that helped me integrate into the workspace, at school. Again, checking for the students that are in here, you just need to check in with your schools, the programs that are there. There's so many networking events that goes on through many campuses. It doesn't have to be yours. If you make friends outside school, like you used to stay at school, at work, just go to the events, talk to people. And yeah, so that would be one of the reasons why, no, not the reasons, like the tips that helped me integrate into society here.
Actually, thank you for touching on that one, because I had a question about networking, how important it is to network. Because again, the people you have around you, whether you already know them or they're new people in your circle, could actually help propel you. I actually got the job I have right now because I went for a sleepover. And from that sleepover, I met one of the program managers at the company I was gonna work for, and I gave her my resume, and the rest is history. So it is very important to to sell yourself, to tell your story, and it doesn't even have to be superficial to talk about all your achievements. It can just be as as small as, this is what I've gone through, this is where I want to go, and somebody feeling being propelled to be like, oh, actually, I know somebody, or I know something that just opened up. So don't be afraid. Again, like, I feel like Eustace also touched on it. Speak up, say something. You never know where it's gonna get. Eustace, coming back to you, has networking played any role in, in your journey?
Yeah, most definitely, because you can only market yourself to just do your own marketing and reach that many people. It's just when the more you network, the more other people market you. So they get you, they tell you about opportunities you wouldn't come across. They're in, some of them are in rooms you're not in yet. So they're able to lift you up and get you to where you need to be. So definitely networking. I would say my last three jobs have been through networking. I've been through either event or LinkedIn, just connecting with people, talking to people. You never know. Sometimes there'll be a discussion with another company, and they're looking for someone, and they think you might be interested. So they connect with you, and they ask if they can send their contacts over and discuss a new job opportunity or any other opportunity. So definitely networking is important. I know, I would say most people are not comfortable just walking straight to people or just messaging people randomly, but I promise you it does pay dividends in the end.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. And I know it's not easy. I feel like it used to be easier for me. And I wouldn't understand why people were not, as outgoing. But then I got older, and now now I have to listen to myself and listen to, I'm like, okay, am I ready to go talk to somebody, or should I maybe wait for there to be, like a connection first? Maybe should I say hi first? Should I wait for them to say hi first? So all those things come into play, but a lot of them include feeling uncomfortable at first. Of course, it's not going to feel uncomfortable the whole way. If you feel uncomfortable the whole time, maybe it's a sign you should that is not for you. But if it's just the nervousness coming up, you can conquer it. There are a lot. Maybe we can have another session to talk about how to conquer nervousness and networking tips and all that. But like Justus said, it does pay dividends. So what advice would you share for new international students or newcomer youth that recently arrived to Canada from Rwanda or Africa? Are there any key tips you can share that can help in their transition? Starting with you, Joyce.
Oh, wow. Sorry. As I kept mentioning it, get out of your comfort zone. Try, and you just mentioned it, it's really hard. Not gonna lie to you. It took me almost a semester to do that. But try to be out there, connect with like-minded people. If you're a student, just connect with people in your school. Like find the programs that are suitable for you. You don't have to volunteer, you don't have to do anything. Just attend those events, get yourself out there and talk to those people, because that's going to help you beat the loneliness in this country. And my other advice is you just need to focus on school. If that's something that if you're fortunate enough to be able to afford it, just minimize the amount of hours that you put into work. Because I've noticed some people come in here thinking, oh, I'm going to work and pay my tuition fees. International student fees are hell. It's too much money. I have never seen any student that can afford it to work and study at the same time. So you just need to find the balance there. And somehow just if you're fortunate enough, just focus on your school and then work on the side, but don't be hard on yourself, because you could be coming from a family that they sell this dream to us. Like I've seen people, they sell the dreams like, okay, yeah, Canada, just go work and pay your tuition fees. But especially in Toronto, I don't think that's going to be possible. So you just need to find a balance. Don't be hard on yourself if things are not working out. And also reach out for help. As I mentioned before, join your community, CARY. Like we have so many programs that are going to help newcomers. We have people that have been through what you have been through. You're not the first one. So join community, ask for help. Don't be afraid, because you're not the first one to experience that. Everybody's been through it. And yeah, so take your vitamins, especially in winter. Keep telling people, take your vitamins. And yeah, so those are the few key tips that I would give people as international students. And also, what else? I was forgetting. But yeah, I'll come back to it. Eustace, you can go on. Sorry.
So I think Joyce touched on when you're at school and say after school. So let me maybe go all the way back to your landing, you're here. One of the things that I would say that is different, especially if you're coming from Rwanda, is one of the things you need to get a cell phone, you need to get a debit card, you need to get a credit card, you need to do a few things that require contracts. It's one thing I would have taught my younger self to be careful about is the difference between here and Rwanda is there's so many contracts here. So understand them, read them, do your research. Don't when you go to the mall, you go anywhere and you're being suggested something, don't make a decision on the spot. Go home, do your research, do a lot of research before you commit to anything, whether it's a cell phone plan or your account, your credit card. Read through the fine lines, understand what you're signing up for. If you're looking for housing, understand what your rights are. Understand your payments, and also just and in addition to that, make a budget. It's very important if you're either working or you're blessed that say your parents or family members are paying for your tuition. It's still really good to have a budget. Know how much you're spending, know how much things cost, and try your best to live within your means, because even in your work life that will come in handy. And the other thing is be open-minded. You're in a new country. There's different ways of thinking. So be willing to learn and even relearn things you already knew, but learn a different way of doing them. So be very open to adventures, be open to put yourself out there, and just take the experience in.
Yeah. Okay, I just remembered what I was wanting to talk about. Thank you, Eustace,
Mm.
for mentioning that. In terms of reading what you're getting yourself into, I've seen so many students come in, newcomers, take on credit cards, and it messes up their lives, their credit scores and everything. You just have to
Mm.
make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Know your budget. If you know for sure you cannot afford to have a 2,000 credit card, just start with 500 because you will need that. You will need to have your credit score in the future because you need a mortgage, whatever, the loans and everything. So just know what you're getting yourself into and don't exceed what you're able to pay back. So don't do that. And also find a balance. Find a balance in your social life. As
Mm.
you mentioned before, sometimes we get lonely. The weather is not good. It's just like you're experiencing something that you were not used to before. So make time to find a balance to have your school life, social life, and everything else in the middle. And also don't forget to communicate with people back home. They're going to help
Mm.
you. You know, the time zones are crazy, and but you need those people in the future. Not in the future. You still need those people. Talk to your family, your friends. They're gonna help you along the way. So yeah, those are my few tips.
Which are all very valuable. So thank you both for sharing those tips. You both of you touched based on credit cards, and I did not get my credit card when I was in the US because I did not understand the importance of getting debt. I was like, why? Because I understood it wasn't free money. At first, it sounded like free money, and then I understood it wasn't free money because the word credit is in there. And then I was like, why should I put debt on myself? So I did not, the whole time I lived in the US for uni, I did not get a credit card until I moved to Canada and had one of those CARY money talks, I believe that's what we call them, with Eustace and Excel. Shout out to you guys. And I learned about, credit card tips. And when you get a credit card, please do not exceed 20% of the max because it shows, don't the low rate of utilization actually shows you can repay it faster, and it leaves a huge range, and you can get augmented by the bank. So once again, shout out to CARY and Eustace and Excel for the money talks that gave me the financial advices that I needed to know how to use my credit card, which, by the way, are some of the services that CARY offers as part of the resources that you get when you come to Canada. Again, a lot of contracts you need to read the fine print. You need to understand what you're getting into because they will sell you the good parts. They will tell you the parts where you get $5,000, but is it really $5,000? What can I have? Can I afford something that costs $5,000? So really just make sure that you that you understand what you're getting into and ask questions. Oh my God, I feel like that would be something that don't be ashamed. There is no stupid question, especially if you are new to the system. We are here. CARY Toronto is here for you. If you have friends at school, the international students office at your school, maybe the resources, even in the community. Maybe if you're not a student, but you are a newcomer, and whatever community you are part of, the RCA, the place where you live, whoever is hosting you, just please make sure you ask questions because you could do something that maybe not irreversible, but is gonna cost you some time. So just make sure that you ask questions to make sure that maybe if somebody has already gone through it, they can give you valuable insight. Did you want to add something, Joyce?
Yes, I forgot to mention about something about food. Make sure you don't eat out all the time because let me tell you. Let me tell you. I know it's funny, but you don't want to add so much weight. So just make sure you eat at home, make your own food, just be active. Like I wish somebody had told me that before,
Mm.
but I just want to tell people to be mindful of what you take in because the food here is different and
Mm.
you just have to be really, really mindful about what you put in your body because it's going to affect you in winter, summer, whatever. The food that you take in is key.
Mm.
It's a crucial thing for everybody, but I just want to mention it because most people come here like when I came here, I didn't know how to cook. Like,
Mm.
I just knew how to make tea. So just learn something. Just make your food. It's going to help you budget, as Eustace mentioned. So that was one thing I forgot to mention. Like, I knew I was going to mention it, but then I kind of forgot.
Yeah, very important because one, groceries are expensive in this city, and I believe in maybe other cities in Canada as well. Eating out is even more expensive, so be smart. Of course, the occasional eating out, like we say, balance. You can eat out maybe once a month, but just make sure that all your money does not finish in enjoyment, because you need to live. You need to pay your bills. Again, that balance is gonna come a long way. When you mentioned balance, I wanted to say, like, yes, we need to socialize, but again, let's remember, let's be focused, because I feel like if we focus too much on on enjoyment and forget the serious parts, that could also be, because the excitement of being in a new place without your parents, without, we live in a big city, Toronto. I could go out and not meet a single person who knows me, and that will make me feel like, oh, I can do whatever. Well, stay grounded, focus on your goals, make sure that you remember what you came here to do, because at the end of the day, we're still immigrants. We're here for a certain purpose. I feel like I was talking to Joyce yesterday, and and we kind of mentioned the fact that when we came to Canada, we were like, yeah, we have to succeed, and that's just it. So when your parents send you here, when you decide to come here, it is because you have a certain goal in mind. So don't lose sight of it because of the, I'm sorry, I have to mention this. It is an old song in Kinyarwanda that says Nugerayo. It's called Nugerayo, and I want to remind all of us, ni warageze hano, don't lose sight, ntureke amazu n'imiziki n'abakobwa n'abahungu ngo bakuderape, donc, so that you don't lose your way. We're getting at the end of this, which is why it's like a lighthearted moment. And by the way, feel free to send in your questions, or maybe the person who hung up Gibyuma can unmute people maybe when we get to the end of this. What would you tell somebody who wants to join CARY? Would you give them maybe a testimony of, I don't know, how beneficial it has been for you to join CARY? And yeah, and maybe if you could also go back to when you first arrived to Canada, is there anything you would change, or like any advice you would give to your younger self? I feel like you've touched on those, but if you have any. Eustace, I feel like you haven't talked in a long time. Are you still with us?
I would say joining CARY, like, it's been a really fulfilling experience, just meeting people with the same culture. You can share thoughts, and you always meet someone who's, if you're working either in the same industry or if you're in school, could be the same school or same program. So it's a very easy way to connect with someone who really understands, the people that understand where you're coming from and can give you guidance. So I welcome everyone to join CARY. I believe we're a very welcoming group, and we're here to help. Advice I would give my younger self, it would still be, I got burnt with my first contract, so I made it goal never to be never to sign anything without really reading the fine print. So I've already touched on that. And the one thing I would like to add that is more common now is scams. So it's the same thing in Rwanda, but here, if I'll just say, if it's too good to be true, then it's probably not true. So just don't sign up for things that you think are just too good to be true. It's going around, especially since COVID, scams are on the rise. So especially for someone who has tuition to pay, who has money allocated to other things, don't lose it, and don't get scammed. Just like I said, if it's too good to be true, then it's probably not true. So
thank you for sharing that. I cannot imagine Eustace getting scammed or getting burned, but I just learned something new about my friend today, so that is a gem. What about you, Joyce?
Oh, well, I would encourage everybody to join CARY, not because I'm part of it, but because of the benefits that I have in there. So I've made friends from CARY. The first people that I made friends in Canada were from CARY. And these are the people that I've been with for a long time, and they're really good friends. So if you want to join CARY, join for so many reasons. But as I mentioned, I kept mentioning it from before, community is I keep telling people it's so important everywhere you go. Even when I went to Edmonton, like I feel like the only thing that grounded me was community, like very minded people. So CARY has people that are professionals. They're gonna inspire you, not even lying or being cocky or anything, but these are the people that are already in their careers. You have people that you look up to. You have people that know so much more than you don't know. So join us. We have so many programs, these newcomers, the mental wellness program that we have with CARY and Beyond the Veil. Check it out. Tell your friends to check us out. I mentioned about the loneliness and everything. So if you feel lonely, come talk to people, like come to us. So I'm so thankful that I joined CARY. And also another thing that I would tell international students, be grounded, know what you want, focus, and also be mindful with the people you associate with. Some people are really not good for you. You are on different paths. You're a student, you're focused on your career, that other person has their own life. So go in the way that you really think is important for you. Just associate with people that are important for you, that people that are going to uplift you, people that have something to add on your life. So yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for both giving us profound advice and for taking us through your journey and for offering your insight on newcomers' journey, especially as former international students. You guys have made it. Congratulations. We are also proud of you. We are also proud of you. Again, right now it's pretty interactive, even with the rest of our participants. So you can unmute your mic or send us a question via the chat option. If you have any question or any tip for the rest of the time that we have here. Otherwise, like everybody touched on it, please join CARY. We are here for Rwandan youth and other Africans who want to collaborate with us. And we have many programs ranging from financial wellness to mental health to public speaking. I believe Aldo raised his hand. Aldo, would you like to unmute yourself or the coordinator to unmute you?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, just to thank all the panelists for the wonderful for them sharing their whole experience. Mine was just only to compliment and say you're kind of an inspiration to the next generation that's going to follow you guys. And also the other question I had was how did you navigate, especially when it comes to the grades, and also Joyce touched on the social life, which I really grasped. But when it comes to the gradings, like how did you guys perform? I know it's on a personal side, but could you give us some few tips? Maybe could help us, like especially for a new person just arrived who is not familiar with the system of the gradings and such. Yeah, that was my question. Thank you.
Thank you for asking that, Aldo. Joyce or Eustace, whoever wants to go first.
I can go first. Thanks for the question. So when it comes to grading, definitely it was a change of pace from what we're used to, especially with assignments. So at the University of Waterloo, we had 12 weeks before starting work. So in 12 weeks, we had assignments, we had midterms, we had finals, and then you had to also apply for a job, get a job, and find a place where you'd be leaving. In 12 weeks, you had to make sure that all of that was done. So I would say this advice works for any program, any universities. Stay ahead of as soon as university starts, as soon as your first week, I would say enjoyment is maximum maybe first or second week. After that, you have to be on the ball. So it does help because things will move very quickly. And if you fall behind, it's very hard to catch up. So if you get an assignment, make sure you always do your assignments, because chances are midterms and finals, they will take questions from the assignment. If you can do all the assignments, you probably have a good grasp of the material and you'll do well. So definitely time is of the essence there, where you have to make sure that you do things way ahead of time, so that if you don't understand something, you can talk to your TA, your teaching assistant, your professors, and you don't fall behind. Like I said, when you fall behind, it's very hard to catch up. So make sure you value your time and you put in the effort to try and finish your assignments and study ahead of time. So if you can, if you have good time management, I would say you succeed.
Yeah.
Do you
Thank
want
you
to
for
add anything?
that. Sorry?
I was asking if you want to add anything.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, Eustace mentioned about assignments and everything, and this is my advice to students. Each assignment has a percentage. So let's say for one course, let's say the assignment is 20%, midterm is 30%, final is 30%, and another one is 50, whatever. So let's make it to 100, right? So just make sure you calculate your grades carefully. So if you're having a challenge with your midterm, make sure you have enough time to do your assignment. If you midterm, let's say it was 30% and you got 18%, and you have another assignment behind, which leads to the final one, just make sure you're giving your time. Seek help. Some university or colleges, I know at my school we had tutoring and it was like $10 an hour. Some were free at the math center, whatever. So just make sure you maximize every resource that you have. I know it's hard and easy to say, but it's one of the things that helped me through school. Also seek help from your fellow students. Just pay attention of anybody in class, that is talking. Seek help from your professors. They're willing to help you. Just talk to them and make sure you're on top of your grades, because again, remember, we're paying a lot of money. Whether you're an international student or just a local student, you're just paying a lot of money. So make sure you use your resources to the maximum, and also time manage your assignments. Know what you're putting into every course to stay ahead of your grades. That's gonna help you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking that, Aldo, because part of the reasons why, you're here is to be a student and you need to succeed. So your grades are definitely an important part of that. Of course, if we're not all A+ students, but hard work pays off. So make sure you get, you take advantage of all the resources that your school offers, who could be maybe your friend in class that could help you. I remember that I was a science, in undergrad, I was a science student, but I took an elective of economics, and it was macro and micro at the same time. And let me tell you, that was the biggest regret of my life. I suffered that semester. It was a 4 credits class. You guys, I had never done, other than entrepreneurship in high school, I had never done an econ class. But the only thing that helped me pass that class was the fact that every day, every free, open door hours that my professor had, I was there. They helped me with all my assignments because I knew me and that exam we're just not gonna. So let me just make sure that all my assignments are properly done, that I have a perfect grade on all my assignments. So you guys, assignments now, it's not like, I was gonna speak in Rwanda. Our assignments are not like, the homework we used to get back in high school. No, these assignments actually count. So treat them as such, treat them seriously, submit them on time. If you think you're going to be late, email your professor. I believe a lot of our professors are nice to people when when you let them know in advance and politely ask for an extension, but not all the time. So en tout cas, I think whoever asked, sorry, Aldo, when you asked about the grades and how much it matters, yeah, we're gonna sound like bookworms, but trust me, it pays off. And thank you for asking that. Anybody else with a burning question before we conclude? I believe nobody else. So I would like to thank everyone for coming today. This was a really good hour. This is an hour well spent on a Saturday morning. And I would like to thank Joyce and Eustace, wherever you are, please clap for them. You guys, thank you for volunteering your 1 hour to share your journey with us. I would also like to thank everybody who helped organize this. Manzi, shout out to you, the RCHC Center. And yeah, if anybody on the Zoom would like to join CARY, we are CARY Toronto on IG. We are also on Twitter, LinkedIn, and we have a WhatsApp group, by the way. Yeah, the WhatsApp group, guys. And I need to not be the only person speaking on there. Interact with me. Thank you so much. Let me know you're going to be showing up to our events. And yeah, you're very welcome. And email us. And our website is in the chat. So if you want to find out more about us, yeah. I feel like someone else is speaking.
I think Aaron has a question.
Oh, Aaron has a question. Great timing. Hello, Aaron, do you have a question? Aaron, do you have a question?
Yes, I do have a question. Good morning, everyone. Actually, it's I think probably afternoon already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was definitely a very great meeting. Thank you very much, Joyce and Eustace, for sharing your experiences, and Nadia for hosting the event. One of the questions I probably had is from what you mentioned. Yes, we are definitely, we want to make sure we are here in Canada to focus on what brought us, which is like school or if it's work, to make sure we dream and sleep and eat in what we're focused in. But one thing I also do realize is a lot of times is we tend to forget our culture and our language. So how would you say you've found it easy kuguma muvuga Kinyarwanda cyangwa to engage in Kinyarwanda and make sure you know what is happening? And because at the end of the day is when you are here to study or work, is maybe some of us think about going back home, or maybe you want to stay here. So we also want to learn and see, like, depending on where my country is and what the need is, am I in the right field? Because one of the thing also I realize is a lot of people start school and they keep like dropping out and changing courses. So how would you say someone who wants to know what they need to focus on and make sure as well in that time they're also making sure it aligns with their culture and they are in touch with their language would do?
Thank you for asking that question, Aaron. Joy, would you like to start? How did you keep in touch with, your Rwanda-ness? And as well as the second question about, I think it was about, focusing and not dropping out of your course, I believe.
Yeah.
Joy, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. So for me, I wouldn't say it was hard for me to keep up with my culture because, first of all, my family is so big on speaking Kinyarwanda. You will never catch us speaking in English. So I'll just give an example of my small brother, because for me, I don't think I'll ever forget Kinyarwanda or anything. That's a no-no. But then for my younger brother, when we came here, he was really young. And one thing that kept us grounded in the culture was, so we make him read in Kinyarwanda. So if we're praying, he has to read the Bible in Kinyarwanda. Like up until now, he doesn't know how to write, but he can read. So you just have to be very active into what you do with them. So we speak with them in Kinyarwanda, they read in Kinyarwanda. Sometimes we just have to listen to the news in Kinyarwanda because it's so crucial for us to keep talking in Kinyarwanda. And also, we just have to remember who we are. You mentioned it, like we come here, it's really huge. There's so many things, there's so many people have identity crisis. So you just have to keep reminding yourself who you are. And also, as we kept mentioning, join your community, CARY, any other Rwandan community. I know most people come here is like, no, ntabwo nshaka kuvugisha abanyarwanda, mufite amatiku, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, you will need those people. You need those people. You need to be in your community, remember who you are, be active. If we have different events, like the upcoming event that we have in November, in November, we're already in November. This
Yeah,
Rwanda event, like, attend those events. It's gonna keep reminding you who you are. Don't allow yourself to be lost in this country, because I see how easily it could be for adults and for young people as well. So you just have to remind yourself who you are. And also, Aaron, thank you for asking that question about school stuff and all. When I first came here, I had to switch programs. I had to drop out of a program, go into another one. So I would say I was young. I didn't know what I want. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how. So I had to sit down and be honest about the whole thing. And also I met, if you're fortunate enough, get a mentor. Get to know what you want. How am I gonna get there? Talk to people again. Kept mentioning about that as well. So I had to sit down, be like, hey, okay, I knew I wanted to go to business school, but I didn't know what program that I wanted to go to. So first I went to a diploma program, which was very wrong and waste of money. But thank God that's not my cross to carry. But I just have to sit down and really think, well, like, what do I want out of this? Where do I want to go? As young people, it's so hard to choose your career. Up until now, sometimes I sit down, I'm like, did I choose the right career? I keep telling my friends, like, maybe I should have went to IT, it has more money. When and then I'm like, no, I don't even understand anything about IT. This is what I need to be. So the choices are many, but you need to sit down and be honest about what you want for your life. Inform yourself, read, talk to people. So yeah, I would say also at your schools or whatever, there is if you go to high school here or if you just come here, there are career advisors. You just need to talk to those people and see where it goes. Sometimes I know for sure some career advisors are not good. They're not good people and they're going to lead you to hell. But the first conversation is about you and yourself. Talk to yourself and see what you want and then seek advice. That would be my my take on that.
Thank you so much, Joy. Eustace, do you have anything to add on it?
Not much on the first question, really. It has to be intentional. And again, it depends on how, when you move here, when you're 18, 19, and you've spoken Kinyarwanda your whole life, it's very hard to forget it, because when you speak with family, you're still gonna speak in Kinyarwanda. However, if you didn't really speak Kinyarwanda, you can easily forget some words. Like Joyce said, it has to be intentional. You have to put in effort, obviously, put in effort in speaking it, because I would say one of the things that made me really embrace the culture as well, being born and raised in Rwanda and coming here, you take it for granted. However, when you reach here, and some Rwandans here would love to speak and write Kinyarwanda, but for different reasons they can't, and it's made me appreciate what I already had. So I would say definitely be intentional in speaking and learning Kinyarwanda. Nako Kinyarwanda. As for changing programs, knowing what you want, look, some of us are blessed that in high school, you know exactly what you like. You might be good at math, physics, you will take sciences or engineering, and then you take it and it works out for you. Some people, it doesn't work out that way. So I would say my dad always gave advice saying you should do what you like, because then when it becomes challenging, you're more willing to put in more effort, because otherwise you don't question much if you belong or not, as long as you like it. So again, there's different programs, different degrees, different diplomas. Joyce touched on it. do your research, understand, is it 2 years, is it 3 years, is it 4 years, why is it 4 years? Look through the classes, how many classes, which classes. If you want to do mechanical engineering or engineering and you really don't like physics, and you look through the courses, you have thermodynamics, heat and mass transfer, things that you know for sure you will not enjoy, then probably wouldn't be a good program for you. However, if you enjoy business and if you enjoy either or accounting or different things, do your homework, understand, look at all the courses and see if they are something you will enjoy, and also you can look far ahead as well to what career paths there are. If it looks like those are some of the career paths you'd be interested in, again, that would probably be a good program for you. But I think it boils down to research. If you research and see what amount of effort and time you have to put in to succeed, and it's something you can live with, then I'm sure any program you can succeed in.
That's the gist of it. Thank you so much for sharing both. And this is a good moment to plug the North American Rwandan Youth Convention happening in Ottawa in 2 weeks from the 25th to the 26th. So if you're here, just from here, go and register on iride.com. It's going to take place in Ottawa and you have to register. It's mandatory, but some of the perks are you're going to meet like-minded people. You are going to I don't know, maybe meet and network, and there's also going to be free entertainment from some of our beloved Rwandan entertainers. So just make sure you're there, and the invitation extends to also friends of Rwanda. So if you have some friends who are Africans or Canadians that want to attend, make sure that you invite them. And another thing is that everybody has a different journey. All this is to show us how everybody has a different journey. We understand that some of it may be linear, you just go through your journey as, through 4 years. Someone else may take maybe 2 years and then another 2 years later. So just make sure that you don't lose track of what your goal is. If you know what your goal is and what drives you, then you're going to get there at the end of the day. So don't lose hope. We are here for some resources. Know who your community is, take advantage of it. And yeah, and we wish you well and hope to be there for, your newcomer journey. So once again, thank you so much, Justus and Joy. And I wish everyone a good rest of the day. Justus, do you want to add anything? Ah, okay. I saw you. All right, guys, have a good Saturday. Thank you so much.